Hello, thank you for joining us again on the Seasoning Angels. Today you have a treat. Today we're going to talk about how my wonderful husband and I met.
Okay.
So it's going to be like our story of how this whole family was created with these beautiful three children, and how we got our story to start.
I know you're very good with adjectives. You always say beautiful children, wonderful okongobong, spicy bitter leaf. You always describe things a lot. And that's amazing. I'm Stan, and this is our 11th anniversary.
Yes, 11 years of marriage to this wonderful guy.
11 years of marriage with this wonderful woman.
And so let's start. So how we met actually was on christianmingle.com.
Online.
Yes, online. It's an online website called christianmingle.com. And I was living in my home state of Washington State, Seattle area, I guess you would say. And he was living in Southern California at the time. And I decided, I think it's time in my life to start looking for somebody. And I was getting serious about it. So I was like, let me give it a try to go online. So I went online and created a profile on christianmingle.com because I wanted a Christian man who followed the Lord. That was the number one important thing for me. So someone who values family and who's a Christian guy. So I decided to go on christianmingle.com and I registered, but I was on a free subscription to try it out first because I didn't want to pay big money and then it didn't work out for me. So I decided to do the free trial. So on there you get to scroll through after you create your profile. You get to scroll through and see different guys that you are matched with. And when I saw that I was matched with him, I was like, oh, he's a good looking guy. He's good looking.
Well, I think I actually pinged you first.
Well, yeah.
I sent you a wink. I think it was called a wink at the time.
Well, you also sent me a private message.
Oh, okay.
So he is actually the one who reached out to me first, but I actually had seen his picture and I kept going back to it like every day looking at his picture because I thought he was good looking and I liked what he had posted about himself.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, I
He
think
posted about himself.
you kept coming back with that hot chocolate. Like everybody loves hot chocolate.
Sure.
And then I wrote to her, and then I was a paid member, so I wrote. I remember the first words I wrote. I said, "Hi, girl. This is Stanislaus. I think you could be my missing rib." Mm-hmm. Like that's an old school style of chatting a girl, right? Like when we're back in Africa, we tell girls that when God created man, Adam and Eve, and they took a rib from Adam and then created Eve. So that was what I was referring to. Like, hey, you are that missing rib, and I'm glad to find you online, and I'd like to talk to you, and I'd like to know more about you. And I waited for the second day. I did not get a response from you. And from what you said, you were not a paying subscriber.
Yeah. So, I saw that message in my inbox and I was like, oh, this is the guy that I kept looking at his picture. I really want to see what he's written to me. But when you're not a paying subscriber to Seasoning Angels, to Christian Mingle, you can't read the private messages that are sent to you. So I was like, okay, I gotta pay. So I paid for the lowest subscription to at least be able to read his message. So I paid, and then I was able to read his message, and I was like, okay. He wrote some really nice things about how that he enjoyed my picture, and he liked the things I wrote about myself and my beliefs and values. And then I wrote back to him, and then...
And if I may remember, I think it actually cost me $50 to meet my wife. It was a 3-month subscription for. This is a $50 chick, okay?
Yeah.
It was a 3-month subscription of Christian Mingle, and it was so worth it. I'm surprised that I had to bill you to read my own messages. But that's how we hooked up. And the first couple of emails were a bunch of interview questions. Like I was already old at the time. I was 31, and she was also 31 years old, and we didn't have time to play around. We just wanted to know if it was going to work, and if it wasn't going to work, we just move on because I had been in previous relationships that didn't turn out good for me.
Yeah.
About 3 in Africa, and they really didn't turn out well, so I didn't have time to waste.
Yeah. So, and the same for me. We were already, I guess you would say, mature in age, so we wanted to make sure we were choosing the right people and not to play around. So when I got his message, I was happy with it, and I wrote back to him, and then he responded back to me. And I was like, oh, good, he's engaging with me, and he wrote back. So
And the first emails were a bunch of questions, and I was asking her, or she actually asked me the first question.
oh yes,
She asked me about family. She asked me, do you love family? And she told me that, hey, I have a grandmother. She's 94. We live with our grandmother. We love her family. How about you? How about your family? Do you also love family? And I'm like, yeah, I'm the family man. I have a family. I love my mom, and I'm from a family of 8. And then immediately I started telling her about cultural value. I mean, I'm telling you, the first 2 emails were very intense because after about 6 months from our first email, we were married. I think 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
After that, we're already married. So we didn't have time to play around. I was like, okay, this is our culture. I'm in the United States, and sometime in the future, I just wanted to know that with Africans, and I'm dating here, I'm here for marriage, I'm not here for fun. With Africans, if you marry an African, most of the time we are very tight with our family. So you find yourself that if my brother comes from America, he would have to live with us until he gets on his food. Are you okay with living with other people in the house and all of that stuff? And what were your answers?
I said yes, that's fine, because I'm very close with my family, and we're very family oriented, and if you got to help family out, you got to help them. So I was okay with that. So that's what we did. I mean, that was an agreement between us. And those were the kind of questions that we asked each other. And then we decided to meet for the first time. And when we met for the first time, he came to visit me first in Washington State, where with my family. And he came to the airport. I picked him up from the airport. And when we saw, I actually arrived at the airport early, and I was by the baggage area. Before he had come down the escalator to the baggage area, he got off the plane. He came down, and I saw him walking through to go to the baggage area. And I was from the side, and I was smiling a lot. But then I said, hello. And then he looked at me with a huge smile on his face, with his beautiful smile that he always has. And he was shocked, I think, that I was there already, or because he said to me, oh, I need to go to he was going to go to the bathroom to freshen up before seeing me, I think.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I had surprised him already. And then I think, if I remember exactly, your words were, you're much prettier than your picture.
But that was very true also. Yeah, you're much prettier than
So-
the pictures I watched. I was like, dang, I got this lady. Yeah, I was so happy.
So we gave each other big hugs, and we were excited to see each other. And he kept looking at me, and I was smiling and smiling.
And then we held hands and
Yeah, held
walked out
hands.
of the airport.
Yeah, and then we went just
The
leave
car
the
rental,
airport.
because your dad brought you,
Yeah.
dropped you, then I went and got my own car, and then I took you, and then
Yeah.
we went.
Yeah, we went to the car rental because he wanted to have his own car so we could drive around together in his car.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then after that, we decided to eat lunch together at a restaurant near the airport.
Hi, it's Steve. Yeah, I'm really excited. You can see from my cheeks that I'm smiling all day because I'm here with Tiffany, and this means so much to me. I feel 20 years younger today. It's such a wonderful day. She has good fingers. She's beautiful. And when I saw her at the airport, I was like, wow. And we are having fun. I'm just loving it.
Yes.
I get back to you later.
And that was a fun time getting to know each other, and I shared some of his salad.
Yeah, I also ate some of her salad. We shared food, and then we drove to the mall.
We drove to the mall that was near there. And at the mall, before we actually got into the mall, though, we had our first kiss.
You're such a sinner. Yeah, we had our first kiss at the mall.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
it was a nice kiss.
It was a very lovely kiss. Can
So,
I kiss you?
okay.
It was more than that kiss. I
Yes,
promise
yes.
you. Yeah.
So we had our first kiss.
Yes.
And then we went into the mall, hung out together, and had a great time. And then we went to the state capitol, because I'm from the state capital of Washington State. So we went there, walked around, relaxed, hung out together more before I brought him to my home. So I was still living with my parents because I was 30 something, but I decided it'd be fine if I stay with my parents, and my family was okay with me staying with them.
Yeah, and you had no siblings at home.
Yeah,
and
because I didn't have
it was
any
a big
siblings
house,
at
and
home.
yeah,
It's a big house,
that
yeah.
was a smart thing to do.
So I worked and had a job. So yeah. Anyways, I stayed home with my family, but after we were done at the
By the way, to interrupt, I think that would be what I would do too. All my girls are gonna live with me until they go get married. There is no need of pushing away your daughters out of the house, or you're 18, just go out of the house.
yeah.
My girls, Grace and Olivia, they would
If they
stay with
feel
me if they want it, but I
Yeah.
prefer they do that
Yeah.
until they get to their husband's home. I'll
Yeah.
walk them to through the aisle.
Yeah.
The Lord gives us long life. And, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. But then after we were done there, then we drove back to my home, and he got to meet my mom and my dad, and then my sister and her family and my brother and his family all drove over to come and meet him because my mom had planned a dinner for us all. And
Your mom was so nice. She
Yes.
gave me a hug. She's like, "Hey, can I hug you?" She
Yes.
hugged me and she gave me a kiss. She's like, "You look so handsome." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah."
yeah, and I think you were surprised by that.
I was
right?
surprised. She was really nice because I was nervous. You don't know these people, and I wanted to stay at the hotel. You're like, "No, come to our house. There is a room for you at the house." And I went there, and I remember the dad took me to my room, and the bed on which I slept was the dad's bed when he was a child, a very small, tiny doorbell.
Yes.
And it's like, "Hey, you sleep there." So I slept in that room, and
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, but that was nice, and I think he was definitely nervous. I could tell
Yeah.
coming into this house with some strange people he's never met before.
strange white people. That's
Yeah,
all.
white people. That's true. That is true. Strange white people, and he wasn't sure about our culture, if we were going to accept him or how he felt. But you can say you would
Oh,
say
it was a
that
good
after a
family.
while, after my mom gave you the hug and they were so welcoming and loving towards you, that you definitely started to feel comfortable, right?
Yeah, and then the dad went and got some videos about Washington State to show me about the whole state of Washington. It was the most boring video of my life, but I pretended as if I liked it. I was like, "Oh, it's so wonderful," and then he kept showing me. The more I said it was wonderful, the more he showed me more videos about the states, the railway stations, and I'm like, "Jesus, save me from this old man, Lord." And I'm like, "Oh my God, it's so wonderful." And then all of a sudden, your younger sister comes to the house, and it's like, "Hey, it's nice to meet you, Stan. Has my dad been killing you with those boring videos?" And I'm like, "Thank you so much." And that's how the video stopped.
Yes, yes, yes. That was very true. But we had a good time together as a family that night, and he enjoyed my mom's dish that she made that he had never had before. That was his first experience with a home cooked
That's
American
true.
dish, like an American meal that he's never had before. So my mom fixed like a sweet and sour, like Asian inspired chicken dish or whatever.
Sweet and sour chicken with
Yes.
chicken tenders. I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
loved it. I've never forgotten it.
And
Yeah.
rice.
Yeah.
Yes, it was really good. And then when my brother, he had come. When my brother and his family came, his youngest daughter at that time, of course, this now was like 11 years ago or so. She's way older now, but at the time she was young. And she sometimes said things that maybe you were like,
Yeah, she had
maybe
no
you shouldn't
filter.
say that stuff.
Yeah, no filter.
But she says to him out of the blue, "What kind of English do you speak?"
Of course, the accent was different.
And,
I'm like,
and
"Oh
I,
boy."
and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" I was like, "Please stop." So
Alex.
Alexandra, yes. But anyway, so we had a fun time getting to know each other. So he was there for I think 2 or 3 days, right?
Yes.
The first time, and then I took him around Seattle and visited parts of Washington. Took him to dinner and just different things so we could get to know each other. And then he left, and then several months went by, and then I went to visit him in
Los
California,
Angeles, yeah.
in Los Angeles, where he was living. And that was around New Year's time, I remember, after Christmas.
Yes.
And I got to see where he lived and meet his friends around there. And we went to his church that he went to. And it was a fun time. So that was how we kind of started it off. And then several months later, I don't remember how many more.
About 3 months later, I flew back to Seattle.
Yeah, you threw back to Seattle.
We're coming for premarital counseling,
Yeah,
something like
because
that.
we knew we wanted to get married.
They wanted to get married. In fact, I told her on the phone that I love you before I even met her. And because we had talked, and I just felt the bonding was really there. So I flew back. We attended the
Pre-marriage
premarital-
classes from my
They taught
home
us about
church.
finances in marriage. We did the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University. And then after that, we're already preparing for the wedding day.
Yeah.
So we get to the mall in Seattle. Not Seattle, it was in
Olympia, my
The
hometown.
Olympia. We get to the mall, and then I pop a ring and I propose to her.
Yeah, he proposed to me in the mall. And people who know me really well, I'm kind of a quiet person, so I don't like a lot of attention on myself. And like going to be proposed to in the mall where I know everyone's gonna see me, it was a little bit like woo, but I was happy and I was excited. But he got on his knee and he actually stopped someone who was just shopping in the mall and gave his phone, and he was saying something to the guy.
I told him, record this. I want to propose to this lady.
And
if she says no, make sure you break the camera. I don't have to get a record of this. And so he started recording. And then you thought we were about to take a picture.
I thought that he was just going to be taking a picture of us. I didn't know that he was going to be getting down on his knee, proposing to me. Yeah. So then I was surprised that he got down on his knee and proposed to me.
And then she said yes, and everyone, the mall literally stopped, and everybody was clapping
watching
for us.
And then they clapped.
Yeah, so then we came back home. I bought her engagement ring. Another day, I'm going to tell you guys about her engagement ring. We have a discussion about that one. Yeah, then we got married. We got married about a few months later.
Well, we got married August 26th, 2012.
Yeah. Was
our wedding date.
Yeah.
And then we got married. Yeah, we got married in my home church in Olympia, Washington. It was actually a Sunday.
Yeah.
We got married in the afternoon on a Sunday after church hours. And it was a beautiful day of church. A service for our ceremony.
Yeah.
And then that night, we went to a hotel up by the airport because we were catching a flight early the next morning for our honeymoon. We were going down towards Long Beach, California to catch a cruise for part of our honeymoon.
I think that evening we did not even really sleep because we got to the hotel really late.
We got there really
maybe around
late.
11 or 12.
Almost 12.
And then the flight had to leave at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And then between 11 and 4 a.m., we're just thanking the Lord and just praying. And just praying and praying and praying and praying nonstop. And then we and then we got and then we got into the plane.
Yeah, and then we left that next morning early for our honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
And actually at the reception of the wedding, I said goodbye to all my family. I said goodbye to my mom and my dad and my siblings and a lot of my friends because as soon as we left the reception, we were going to be going on the honeymoon the next day towards California. I was moving. So I was moving from Washington State to live with him in California because he already had a really nice apartment and a place there in California. So I decided, okay, it'd be best, obviously, if we move there. So I picked up, say goodbye to my family, and moved, and living with a man for the first time because I had never lived with any man before. So yeah, so that was.
I was a great man.
Yes, you are.
With me.
Yes.
So she moved with the king of Africa, which is what I told in my words, and we started our family.
Yes, and that was 11 years ago.
That was 11 years ago. So that's how we met.
That's our story, how we met, and there's been a lot of bumps and journeys along the way, but we're going to tell you more about those in other videos. So we will tell you more about the trials and tribulations and wonderful stories about our marriage and how we've gotten through 11 years and more future videos. So look forward to those. Okay. And this is how we met, our story, and before we started having kids, because that will be more videos to come with our story of how we had kids and the story of all that.
Yeah. And we'll tell you a lot. And well, at the end of this very first video, which is Tiffany is doing this series for her channel, The Seasoning Angels.
Yes.
It's 11 years of marriage. God, that's been a ride. 11 years as an African wife.
Yes.
And she's learned a lot that she wants to share with the world, and about the cultural dynamics, what it means to live with family or all of those things. And we hope you learn a lot from these videos.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being a part of our wonderful Seasoning Angels family. We really, truly love and appreciate all of you all, and thank you for being there for us and supporting our family. And I hope that you enjoy this video of our story of how we met and how we've become now as a family, a unit. And we'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you for watching.